Hello and welcome to the Curricular Practical Training Workshop, or CPT. Curricular Practical Training, or CPT, is an opportunity granted to F1 visa holders interested in doing work or an internship that is directly related to their program of study. There is no set limit of time a student may engage in CPT, and also CPT can be paid or unpaid. In regards to eligibility to do CPT, an F1 student must have been enrolled full-time for at least an academic year. An exception exists for graduate students whose programs require immediate curricular training. Students who are enrolled in the English learning training programs are not eligible for CPT, as English as second language programs are not academic programs. In order to have eligibility for CPT, the training to be done must be an integral part of an established curriculum and directly related to the student's major area of study, and/or it is required to meet graduation requirements. CPT is not meant to be a convenient employment opportunity or a way to not use OPT. If the work that is being done is not integral or required, you might want to wait until you need time to apply for your OPT. More requirements include, it has to be an integral part of an established curriculum and related to the major of study. A student must have an offer of employment or training from an employer offering it that qualifies as curricular practical training. Hours for CPT can improve at the part-time level, which would be 20 hours or less, or full-time, which is anything over 20 hours. If a student uses CPT full-time for 1 year or more, it will eliminate any eligibility for optional practical training. If a student uses part-time CPT, it will not affect eligibility for optional practical training. In regards to the location, students may engage in CPT only for the specific employer, location, and period approved by the immigration specialist. This information goes directly onto the Form I-20 on the second page. At all times, students must maintain their F1 status during the period of employment. This means full course of study in the fall or spring semesters. The approval process is as follows. CPT is authorized directly by the immigration specialist at the university. USCIS approval is not required, and no employment authorization card is issued. That is only for OPT, or economic hardship. The start date of employment should be on or after the start date recorded in the system. Before a student can start the CPT, they will need to get the updated Form I-20 reflecting the CPT authorization from the immigration specialist. This is now showing proof that someone has the authority to be working off of campus doing CPT. There are some advantages to doing CPT. Students are allowed to work full-time for up to 11 months without it affecting eligibility for post-completion OPT. Also, students are allowed to work part-time for a number of semesters without affecting their eligibility for post-completion OPT. Another good thing is this allows students to get real-life professional experience in field of study before graduation. There are some disadvantages, however, in doing CPT. Students can work full-time. However, if a student engages in full-time CPT for 12 months or more, the student becomes ineligible for post-completion OPT. Also, students can engage in CPT only for the specific employer, location, and period of time approved by the immigration specialist. Any change has to be reflected on the I-20. If someone were to apply for CPT, there is a checklist that we follow. The documents and link are on the A-State website, and they are including a completed CPT recommendation form. This form must be completed and signed by the student and the academic advisor. Also on this form is a place where the name of the class that will be taken will be listed as CPT, which is like curricular, means curriculum. So this has to be for a 1 or 3 hour credit course. The other item needed besides a recommendation form is a letter from the employer on letterhead that indicates the job title, dates of employment, number of hours of work per week, the name and address of the place of employment, and a brief description of the work that will be done by the student. To continue the checklist, the student must be registered in a 3 credit hour course in the field of study. The academic advisor should note the course number of the registered class on the CPT recommendation form. If it's only for a 1 credit hour, that is fine as well, but you have to make sure you are enrolled in a course. Where would you submit the documentation? You would submit this to S301 in international programs, and it's going to go to the immigration advisor. It has to be turned in before the CPT starts and you are legal to begin the CPT. Some important facts to remember when on CPT. What is the status? You are still in F1 visa status. CPT is a benefit of an F1 visa holder. Can you travel when you're on CPT? Yes, you travel as you usually would, but you would travel with your passport, visa, and the I-20 with CPT information, with it being signed within the last 3 months. If your visa has expired, it does not impact your status in the United States. But if you were to be abroad, if you were traveling outside the US, you would have to renew it before you would be allowed to come back into the country. If you do not have a Social Security number, you can apply for it after you've turned in your paperwork to our office. You would just need to let us know that you are needing a letter to be approved for your Social Security. Once you do that, you will pick up the Form I-20, your recommendation form, your letter as well as the Social Security letter from us. You would take the following items with you to the Social Security office to get your Social Security card. Your I-20 with the CPT notation on the 2nd page, your most recent I-94, your passport and visa, and the Social Security letter from the International Student Services. If there are any questions about CPT or the process and how to apply for it, you may contact the immigration advisor in international programs. Thank you for attending.